Oh, hey, didn't see you there. How's it going? Thanks for stopping by. As you can see, I'm down in my den, drinking some water from the University of New Hampshire cup. Lupin, say hello to my class. There's my morbidly obese cat. And I thought I'd have like a little fireside chat with you, just to sort of open up Trespasser. So today is Monday, and I hope you had all a good staycation. Hopefully you've got your book. A lot of you still have not emailed me your book number. Please do that, or I'll try to email you individually. And I know it's not ideal, obviously, but I wanted to read maybe the first 2 pages, 3 at the most, just so you get an idea of Paul Doiron's language, his usage of the language. If you watched the video from before vacation, I told you that the big things we're going to look for in this are how he portrays the real Maine, and how he uses setting, the land, the regions of Maine, and even the way that people act in these regions. You're going to meet a crazy guy named Hank Varnum. A lot of the names Doiron creates sound very Maine. Hank Varnum is definitely a guy like I probably know somewhere. Anyway, if you have your book, if you want to follow along with me, so I'll point out what I think you should notice about stuff. What happens is Paul Doiron, so Mike Bowditch, the story begins with Mike Bowditch, the game warden, going to find somebody had hit a deer with a car, and there's a little bit of a mystery at the beginning because there's blood, but no deer. What do you call a deer with no eyes? No idea. What do you call a deer with no eyes and no legs? Still no idea. Alright, I found the wreck easily enough. It was the only red sedan with a crushed hood on the Parker Point Road. In my headlights, the damage didn't look too extensive. The driver had even managed to steer the car onto the muddy shoulder where it had become mired to its hubcaps. I switched on my blue lights and got out of the patrol truck. My shadow lurched ahead of me like a movie monster. Right off, I saw the dark red pool of blood in the road. There must have been quarts of it. Every ounce in the animal's body spilled onto the asphalt. I also noticed bloody drag marks where someone had moved the roadkill. But the deer itself was nowhere to be seen. The red smears just stopped, as if the carcass had been snatched up by space aliens into the night. Flashlight raised high in my hand, I approached the wrecked car. The airbags had inflated, but the windshield was intact. So where was the driver? Someone had phoned in the deer car collision. The keys were still in the ignition. Had the driver wandered off with a concussion, or just gotten tired of waiting for a delinquent game warden to arrive? It was damn mysterious. No driver, no deer. I was all alone on the foggy road. The call had come in an hour earlier near the end of a 12-hour shift. My last stop of the day was supposed to be the house of a very tall and angry man named Hank Varnum. He was waiting for me in the foggy nimbus of his porch light, a rangy, raw-boned guy with a face that always reminded me of Abraham Lincoln when I saw him behind the counter of the Kennebec Market. Tonight, he didn't give me a chance to climb out of my truck. He just let out a snarl. "Look what those bastards did, Mike!" And he started off into the wet woods behind his house. So, just quickly, Doiron starts this already with an air of mystery. There's blood on the road. There's a vehicle on the road, but no deer. Some of you may know that it's probably, it's illegal to poach deer, hit deer. Well, hit deer. It's illegal to hit deer on purpose all the time, but this is not hunting season, as you'll see. This is past that, so it's just mysterious. And you got to ask yourself, why did somebody take the deer? Is someone trying to cover up evidence or something? So it's fishy right away. But back to Hank Varnum. "Look at those bastards did, Mike!" And he started off into the wet woods behind his house. I grabbed my mag light and followed as best as I could. When you're a young Maine game warden, 25 years old and fit, there aren't many occasions where you can truly imagine being old. But this late March evening was one of them. My knees ached from a fall I'd taken earlier that day checking ice fishing licenses on a frozen pond. and the mud sucked at my boots with every step. Varnum had to keep waiting for me to catch up. The grocer walked like a turkey, long-legged, neck extended, head bobbing as he went, but I was too exhausted to find it humorous. Hank Varnum owned something like 70 acres of woods along the Sagakak River in mid-coast Maine, and he seemed determined to lead me over every hill and dale of it. Worse yet, I discovered that my flashlight needed new batteries. The temperature had been hovering around 32 degrees. As I read this, it's April 27th, and it's 38 degrees right now. Great. Good times. And now the thaw was conjuring up a mist from the forest floor. Fog rose from the softening patches of snow and drifted like gossamer through the trees. After many minutes, we came out of a thicket and intersected a recently used all-terrain vehicle trail. The big wheels of the ATVs had chewed savagely into the earth, splashing mud into the treetops and scattering fist-sized rocks everywhere. The ruts were filled with coffee-colored puddles deep enough to drown a small child. Varnum thrust his forefinger at the damage. "Do you believe this stuff?" Of course it doesn't say stuff because it says the other word, because these are real Maine people talking in real Maine places. Just from those first couple pages, I hope you can get, I don't want to bore you, I'd love to read all you want, but you can get something of the dialogue, something of the people, something of Mike Bowditch. He's a very smart guy, very observant, really loves Maine, really loves being outdoors. I think those of you who have lived in Maine your whole life will really like this. Listen, another thing that I want to do is I'm going to try to post some virtual office hours, because I know you may have questions about the book, and I want to be there for you. So, check the blog for details, but probably do like a Wednesday office hours where from maybe like 10 to 11. I'll just be hanging out on my computer. You can chime in. But anyway, that's all for now. Thanks, and happy reading.